Hello from the world of industrial automation. My name is Artem Melnik, and I'm a software engineer with 15 years of experience in developing firmware and software for programmable logic controllers. Let's develop an automated control system for an industrial dry heat sterilizer. All the devices mentioned are connected to each other through a router that has internet access. Let's take a look at the structural diagram of the equipment connections. As we mentioned earlier, instead of a real sterilizer, we're using an emulator. Connect the terminal of the first analog output, A01B, with a brown wire through a 400 ohms resistor rated at no less than 0.5 watts to the terminal of the first analog input, AI12. The algorithm will support various types of sensors, heating elements, and insulation materials. It will also support installing from 1 to 6 internal temperature sensors and heating elements in the sterilizer chamber. This is necessary so that we can design absolutely any model of sterilizer and not be dependent on a specific supplier of insulation material, sensors, or heating elements. How can you disable the ability for the user to change settings when the power button's turned on? In the group properties, link the stop button variable for the emulator launch, bpower, to the deactivate inputs parameter. Link this same variable to the variable parameter of the button itself. In the next video, we will take a detailed look at the code for the emulator's operating algorithm, written in ST language, and thoroughly examine all the visualization components of our improved prototype.
Let's break down the algorithm. The first block of conditions is responsible for starting and stopping the emulator's operation. If the start button for the emulator is not pressed, meaning the value of the bpower variable is false, then we set all variables used in the VAR section to their default values. We set the first group of variables to 0. Next, if the setting heater power control mode is set to manual control, we allow changes to the maximum heater power position setting. Otherwise, we prohibit changes. Then, we set the temperature readings for all external sensors. We take these readings from the base ambient room temperature setting. Next, we set the temperature readings for all internal sensors. We take these readings from the base internal temperature in the sterilizer setting. Then, we set the current level for all analog output control signals. This current level corresponds to the temperature readings for all internal sensors. Next, we turn off all heating elements. Next, if the settings for the inertia of the internal sensors, the maximum power of the heating elements, and the thermal conductivity coefficient of the insulation material are outside the specified limits, we set these settings to their default values. We obtain these default settings using implemented functions that return the default values according to the specified sensor type, heater type, and insulation material type. The final return statement ends the execution of our main task, just as if it were the last statement in the code of our algorithm. We could have replaced this return statement with an else statement, but in that case, all the code starting from line 57 would have to be placed between the else and end_if statements. Let us know in the comments if you see any advantages to using the return statement. Next, if the button to start the emulator is pressed, meaning the value of the bpower variable is true, then all the remaining code starting from line 57 will be executed. The second block of conditions calculates the average room temperature based on all external sensors. The following statements calculate the approximate surface area of the chamber based on its volume, taking into account that the sterilizer's design is in the shape of a cube. The second statement calculates the heat loss coefficient for the entire chamber, taking into account the thermal conductivity coefficient of the insulation material, its thickness, and the approximate surface area of the chamber. The next block of statements calculates the heat capacity coefficient per liter of the empty chamber, considering the chamber's volume, wall thickness, and the thickness of the insulation material. The next two statements calculate the chamber loading coefficient, taking into account the mass of the medical instruments, the volume of the sterilizer chamber, and the heat capacity coefficient per liter of the empty chamber. The following statement calculates the effective heat capacity of the sterilizer chamber, considering the chamber volume, the heat capacity coefficient per liter of the empty chamber, and the loading coefficient. The following statements calculate the total active power of all heating elements installed in the current modification of the sterilizer. Let me remind you that in the current modification of the sterilizer, we have only one heating element and only one internal temperature sensor. The following statement calculates the net power, or heat balance, taking into account the total active power of all heating elements, the heat loss coefficient of the entire chamber, and the difference between the actual physical temperature inside the chamber and the average room temperature. The next two statements calculate the actual physical temperature inside the sterilizer chamber, considering the heat balance, the effective heat capacity of the chamber, and the main task interval. The next block of statements calculates the readings of all internal temperature sensors, taking into account the actual physical temperature inside the sterilizer chamber, the main task interval, and the inertia or time constant of the internal sensors. Next, we set the current level for all analog output control signals. This current level corresponds to the temperature readings for all internal sensors. The last block of statements calculates the heating and cooling rates of the air inside the sterilizer chamber, taking into account the actual physical temperature inside the chamber during the current and previous main test cycles. Let's move on to the second topic, analyzing the visualization components of the emulator. We'll only look at those features of the visualization editor that we're using for the first time in this video series. The first component is combo box integer. In the variable field, we select our variable for the sterilizer's thermal insulation material. To set default values for the thermal conductivity coefficient of the insulation material setting, when the insulation material is changed, we'll set up an event handler for value changes and select the execute code function to handle this event. In the body of this function, we'll write the expression we discussed earlier. The second component is combo box integer. We do everything in the same way, except that in the body of this function, we set the default inertia for the first internal temperature sensor according to the selected sensor type. The third component is combo box integer. Again, we do everything in the same way, except that in the body of this function, we set the default maximum power position of the heating elements according to the selected heater power control mode. The fourth component is rounded rectangle. In the deactivate inputs field, we select our access flag variable for the setting maximum power position of the heating elements. This means we can only change the value of this setting when the manual heater power control mode is enabled. The last component is combo box integer. We do everything the same way as with the previous drop-down lists, except that in the body of this function, we set the default to the maximum power of the first heating element according to the selected heater type. Now let's move on to the surprise section and show how to reduce the number of lines in the main body of the program. To do this, right-click on PLC_PRG, select Action in the Add Device section, and enter Set Default Variables in the name field. Next, let's move all the code we've discussed up to the return statement into the Set Default Variables action, and instead of the cutout code, we'll call our Set Default Variables action. In the next video, we'll answer the question, what is multitasking, and why is it used in all modern electronic devices? As you may have noticed, in our project, in the device tree, we see at least 3 tasks: the cloud task, the visualization task, and the user task for our control algorithm. Write in the comments what multitasking is needed for, and whether there are really only 3 tasks running on this PLC with the Linux RT operating system. As you may have noticed, the input-output modules from akYtec have removable terminal blocks, which allows the industrial equipment in our main project to connect both to the industrial equipment of the emulator and to the industrial equipment of any real sterilizer modification. Therefore, in the next video, we will improve our prototypes and introduce the concept of sterilizer models. That is, our projects will support different models of sterilizers with various characteristics, such as the type of thermal insulation material, the volume of the sterilizer chamber, the number of heating elements, and the number of internal temperature sensors.
But for now, I suggest you identify any shortcomings in the prototype that you noticed and propose ways to address them. Our channel has the exclusive right to offer a promo code for a 35% discount on the purchase of SPC210 and input-output modules from akYtec. To get this promo code, simply follow the link below to the WhatsApp or Telegram channel, and in the channel profile, you'll find my personal contact. You can send me a direct message with the text promo code. But I want to point out that this promo code is only valid for 24 hours, so please contact me only if you've already added the products to your cart on the akYtec website. And here's another nice surprise for those viewers who buy the SPC210 and send me the serial number of their controller in a direct message. I'll provide all the CODESYS projects used in our channel's videos for free. You can also subscribe to our WhatsApp and Telegram channels so you don't miss announcements about upcoming videos. And of course, so you can always get a promo code for a discount on akYtec products. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss future videos. And give this video a like if you enjoyed it. That's all for now. See you in the next videos.